Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Merry Christmas. We did it. We did our month and about 2 months actually worth of Christmas films. We're gonna jump into regular things now. I got books to read. We got shows to watch. We got stuff to do. But this is our last Christmas review of the Christmas marathon season, and I wanted to save the Santa Clauses, the miniseries on Disney Plus, as the final hurrah for Christmas. So, 1994, we had the first Disney Santa Claus film starring Tim Allen. '02 was the sequel. '06 was the third film. And then now we're all these years later, and we have this next film. So this starts out in 2022, and then technically it's the year leading up to 2023's Christmas. So it's a future Christmas, but so it's 6 episodes long. It's a miniseries. I definitely don't think there's going to be a season two because of how it's not well received. Certain things are very questionable, but the problem is the first 4 episodes are wonky. You're like, given Santa wants to retire and he's complaining, and you're like, but Santa would not do that. Santa would not be complaining about all these different things, and like he wants to retire and he wants to go back to the human world. So like, how does the family adapt, right? So Elizabeth Mitchell's back as Carol, aka Mrs. Claus. Their two children, Buddy Calvin Claus and Sandra Calvin Claus, are humans grown up in the North Pole. So the question is, if Santa's going to retire, why isn't Charlie taking up the realm of Santa? Because for the first, second, and third films, he's like, yeah, North Pole, and I'm going to be my dad when I grow up. We get Charlie in an episode, and he's a grown man married with 2 kids living in Florida, and he says, Dad, the North Pole is great, but it's not conducive to raising a family. And Scott's like, yeah, but I have a family there. And he's like, yeah, but have you talked to them? Like, how are they? Like, I talked to them, his half-siblings. So, like, it was interesting watching the dream of becoming Santa Claus die. And it was hard to watch because for 3 films, you're like, okay, Charlie's going to be Santa. Charlie's going to be Santa. And then Charlie's back and he's like, I don't want to be Santa. He doesn't even tell his wife that his father is Santa Claus, that she thinks he's a shrimp boater in Greenland or something like that. So it was very interesting. But then the other question is, if we're going with the mythos and the story that was presented to us in the original films, Lucy, right? Scott's not technical stepdaughter because Lucy is Charlie's half-sister, as in the daughter of Neil and Laura his ex. We don't get any of them in this show. So Lucy, again, always loved the North Pole, always, wanted to be in the North Pole. So why wasn't Lucy brought into conversation to be the next Santa Claus, to be the first female Santa Claus, right? We know that Santa Claus has been a male all these thousands of years. We have La Bafina, who is Bafina, the Christmas witch who lives in the magical woods in the North Pole. And we get her little origin Italian story of putting toys in stockings. So we get some Christmas history. I thought we were going back all the way to Saturnalia, which was the Roman holiday that Christmas is actually started from. And then it morphed Norse mythology, pagan traditions, stuff like that, Yule, all of that kind of morphed together. That's what's nice about Christmas, is that it's a combo of different cultures coming together to make one giving season, not getting. And then that was the moral of the story at the end. Christmas is about giving, not getting. So 1 through 4 was a little wonky getting up to it, and then 5 was incredible. It was literally entitled The Yuleverse, and David Krumholtz was back as Bernard. To have Cal Penn, though, playing Simon Chokski and his daughter Grace, being the next Santa Claus, but taking it to a tech and Christmas Every Day front, it was strange, but it was nice to see a non-white Santa Claus take in the thing. And SC, Simon Chokshi, Santa Claus, Scott Calvin, they're all that together. I see what they did there. So the Yuleverse was Bernard showing Scott that he was chosen. It wasn't an accident that the Santa Claus fell off the roof. That Santa Claus is actually there. He was a Santa Claus during the Great Depression, World War II, Vietnam War. And so he's explaining that it was all crafted, that all of the other Santa Clauses And Krampus. Krampus is now canon within Disney. Disney canon as Krampus, as an actual speaking character. Very interesting. I will definitely rewatch episode 5 many, many times because that was incredible. Getting the different Santa Clauses from the different cultures all within this Yuleverse in this giant room, and then leading back to St. Nicholas, the very first Santa Claus. Very, very cool. Very smart. Tim had gone on different interviews saying that we were getting back to the heart of Christmas, keep the Christ in Christmas kind of a thing. But there was no Christ in Christmas conversations. We were just talking about the different Santa Clauses and going back to St. Nicholas, who was the first Santa. So it was interesting how the conversations within interviews didn't actually correlate to what we were presented. And I'm fine with that because it showed the different types of Santas, that there's not white Santas, and it shows the different Santas through the different generations, through the different centuries, through the different millennia. Very interesting having these different Santa Clauses representing the different cultures, showing still that it's about giving, not getting. But it took so long to get there, and so many people stopped it for the first 2 episodes because it was just wonky. It was wonky. So leading then to the ending of having who gets the coat kind of a thing, Bernard explaining his magic, anti-aging stopped when he decided to marry a human woman, things like that. It was neat having then that transpiring at the end that Buddy Calvin is going. It has the same kind of magic in him that his dad has, and Sandra has some kind of magic in regards to talking to animals and stuff. So it's not a matter of Santa Claus working by himself to deliver Christmas. It's a matter of working together with his family, with his team, to deliver Christmas. Because that's why he originally wanted to not be Santa anymore, because he was tired of not spending Christmas with his family. But then eventually he figured out that he could spend Christmas with his family while still being Santa Claus. But it took a long time to get there. This was only 6 episodes long, and it was like 20-something minutes per episode. It took a long time to get there. But the ending was great. And that's what I found unfortunate about it, is that the beginning was so blech. And then you had to stick through it. And then it got to this awesome Yuleverse and giving, not getting, and everybody hugs at the end. Simon's character, Grace's character, both families come together, realizing that Scott is supposed to be Santa Claus, that he was the first human to be chosen to be Santa Claus. Everybody else was ethereal. That his family is the first human family. What would happen if a human family took the reins of Santa Claus? Would magic then bestow upon them? And it did. It's very interesting getting backstory. The other thing I absolutely loved within that Yuleverse episode, I can't praise that episode enough. That was top tier TV right there. We get a flashback to young Scott Calvin as a kid waiting to catch Santa Claus. And Santa's like, why'd you ask for this and this and this and this? And Scott's like, well, no, this is for this person, this is for that person, that's for this person. So it's a matter of giving, not getting. He wanted to get the gifts to give to people. So it was just so cool having that 1994 moment, Santa falling off the roof, was not an accident. It was planned. And it was so cool. It was so cool getting that explanation. It just took so long to get there, but we got there, and it was great. And it's unfortunate because it was great, and it's not getting the credit that it deserves, because the ending of this show was superior. A few things I didn't like is the sets were completely different. And you have to realize this was, 2006 was the last film. So that was 14, 15, 16 years ago. 16 years ago was the last time that they actually made a film. So the second and third films had the same sets, the same North Pole workshop, the same office, the same living quarters, stuff like that, right? At the palace and in Santa's castle. And this had totally different stuff. But I'm paying attention to detail. Like, I like how they did certain, like, fruit cake bricks. I like the candy cane columns. I like the gingerbread frosted wainscoting. Like, the architect design aspect I completely loved. But I just wish it was similar to the other sets. Like, the Santa Claus fireplace was kind of similar, but it was a completely different room. So, like, yes, I get it. Things change. Let's redecorate. Blah, blah, blah. But I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking on the costuming. Yeah, it was about adapting. It was about giving, not getting. It was learning. It was interesting. Very interesting. I wish the beginning wasn't as wonky as it was, but it is what it is. Ending was superior. I will definitely be watching the last 2 episodes probably every Christmas moving forward. Not the first four, the last two. Last two were great. That Yuleverse, multiverse being so prevalent in everything we see right now is just so cool. I don't think I'm ever gonna get tired of it. And the Amazing Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse 2 trailer just dropped yesterday, and I'm currently recording this December 14th. Yeah, it dropped on the 13th, and it showed like over 200 different Spider people. It was just so cool. Man, multiverse galore. Multiverse galore. Cannot wait for more. Didn't intend for that to rhyme, but hey, it happens. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Mucho mahalo.